Namaste Sapiens. In this tutorial we are going to continue our space shooter series, and this tutorial is going to be a very major one because we are going to do some major upgrades in our game. We are going to create two enemy movement types, or we can say two enemy types. That will be our individual enemy and wave enemy, and then we are going to create a enemy spawner, and then we are going to create a health bar for player. So without further ado, let's get back to Unity. So let's continue with our enemy script. So it's here we left it. Now we're going to create a public enumerator and we will say type. This will describe our type of the enemy, and we'll say individual and then wave. And I guess it will be more easy if we set enemy type individual wave, and then we're going to create a variable for that, private enemy type enemy type. So you know the drill, and we are going to serialize it. Now after that, in the start method we'll say if our enemy type is enemy type dot individual. So let me firstly tell you why I have created these two enemy types, because whenever we are talking about the boss enemy, it is an individual enemy and it will move to and fro in the space, and whenever we're talking about the wave enemies, they will move from here to here and here to here and so on. But there are basically two types of enemies that we're going to use in this game. So if enemy type dot is equal to enemy type dot individual, we are going to move our enemy, and for that we need the maximum height in which the enemy can be spawned and the minimum height at which the enemy can be spawned. So we are going to achieve that by screen height and using some main camera thing. So let me do this. Instead of using the main camera, we'll say this is the enemy script, so we will say camera.main, and that will be more easy because there are going to be tons of enemies. And this is the thing here. So we are going to create some private variables, and private float min height, let's say to 0, max height, let's say to 0 also. So firstly, this sorry about the sound in the background created by the barking of dogs. I don't know what happens in my area. So let me finish this. We'll say minimum height is screen dot height times 0.8 times 0.6, I guess. So let me tell you quickly what I am doing. Screen dot height, this is the screen, guys. So we're talking about screen height. If we say screen dot height times 1, I will point to something here. If I'm going to say screen dot height times 0.6, I'm going something here. So that's the minimum height our enemy can spawn, and I guess 0.8 will set the let me reevaluate. This is 0.5, and we'll say maximum height to be 0.7 because our enemies are bigger. 0.7, I guess that's okay. So an enemy can spawn in between these heights, so we'll say float height, and we'll say random dot range from minimum height to maximum height. But notice one thing here, guys. All I'm doing is using the screen coordinates here. We're not using the world coordinates, but we are going to use this height when we are going to instantiate spawn an enemy, or maybe set the transform dot position of that enemy because it's already spawned. So we are going to convert those points into world point. So how we're going to do that is we're going to create a vector 2, and we'll say min height, and we'll say this is camera not the small one, camera dot main dot screen to world point, and this is the position, and we'll say new vector2 0 in the x and min height in the y, and we'll say min h here, min h, and why it doesn't work? Oh yes, I have forgot a bracket. And then we're going to create a vector2 and we'll say max h, that will be the same but with the maximum height. So these are our two vectors. Okay, now we're going to set the height to min h dot y and max h dot y. So there you have it, guys. Now we're going to spawn our enemy, and we are also going to spawn on a random width of the screen. So for that, the width of the screen is this. 1 is something right here, -1 here. So let's do the stuffs. Okay, now we're going to copy all of this code, we're going to paste it, and we'll say width min width max width. I guess I'm spelling width wrong. Yes, that's right. Screen dot width dot width. Okay, and to minimum width will be minus point, not point, minus, yes, minus 0.8, maximum width 0.8. Okay, so we're going to say min w max w, and here we're going to say min width, and here we will say max width, and here we will say 0 0 0 0. And this will be our width, and this will be a random range from min w dot x and max w dot x. Okay, now I have to create those two variables really quick. Where are they? Yes, I guess you're done with those things now. Max, I guess we're done with those things now to spawn at the correct position. No, we have not set the transform dot position. So we'll say transform dot position is new vector2, and it could be in the width and height. Okay, so at the start we will do this. So let's see it in action. We'll set this enemy to individual, and it will change position if I guess I have did it right. So you can see it's the position here. Okay, so you can see that's the position of our player, enemy, sorry, and the minimum height should be like 0.6. Okay, and 0.8. Yes, we can change the values, but now that's now all for our individual, I guess, but we have to also move the individual enemy to and fro in the covering the width of the screen. So let's do that too. We are going to do that in the update method. So we're going to say private void update. Okay, and the same thing, min width, min height we have calculated already. And this is the vector2 min width, min height, maximum width, and this is the width which is going to be random. This is for this purpose. I guess we have to create those two variables here, because we are going to use them later also in our update method. Okay, Now I guess that's right. So now in the update method we're going to move the enemy. So if only if our enemy type is enemy type.individual, we're going to do something, that is we're going to move the enemy. Okay, and we will say project we will also say serialized field private boolean move to row. Okay, if this is true and we are individual, then only we are going to do this. Creating more space for the artist here. So min width, max width. Okay, so now we are firstly going to lerp our transform.position to our min width, then we are going to lerp it to our max width. So let's go ahead, guys. We'll say transform.position is vector2 dot smooth temp I guess, and the current is transform dot position. The target will be our min width firstly. Okay, and then the current velocity I will say vel1, and the smooth time is I guess smooth time. We'll create those variables, and the max speed we don't need this, so I'm also going to copy this and do it for the max, but it's not going to work right now because we are not having a condition above all this. So private vector2 vel1 vel2 and private float smooth time, and we will say 2.1f. okay, and in the start method we are going to I guess we can use range. We can say 0 to 1f. okay, we can use the range, or we can do it manually. You can also do it like smooth time is random dot range, and we'll say 0 1. So you can see you can also work that way or that way. So now let's see what happens next. So if we are closer to the minimum width, then we are going to switch to this line. If we are closer to the maximum width, then we are going to switch to this line. So we are going to create two booleans, and we will say bool closer to min, say false, closer to max, and we will say false. Both are false in the start. And now let's say if transform dot position dot x, okay, is we are going to say some minor gap that will be of I guess 0.1 minus 0.1 f is greater than min is less than min width. That means we're getting towards our min width. So we're going to closer to max is true, closer to min is true, and we'll say closer to max is false. Okay, and we'll say if our transform dot position dot x plus our 0.1 f is greater than our max width. That means on adding 0.1 f to our transform dot position, we are going greater than or equal to our max width. We are also going to say equal here. We will say we are closer to max and closer to min we will set to false, and now we're going to do it on the basis of this. If we are closer to max, then we're going to do this, and else if we are closer to min, then we're going to do this. So this thing really quick. Oh yes. Okay. That was the problem. Smooth app takes 4 arguments. What? They say max speed and delta time also. Oh, max speed and delta time. It's for the vector 2. It's not necessary in the vector 3. I have done it so many times, but now let's do it. Private float max speed. We'll say it's 10f and then we're going to add max speed, then delta time is time, not delta time. It's all done by now, I guess. So as you can see, we have done it and move to and fro. This. I guess that should work. And if we could smooth time this, I guess that's okay. Let me change it to 10. 1 to 10. Okay. So now let's see our enemy. This is our enemy. Move to and fro, individual. Did I serialize this? No, I didn't. That is the problem. Yes, so smooth time we'll say 1. And now let's see. Does it move? Let me see what the problem is. Close to min and close to max, both are false. Okay. At the start we'll say we are close to min. Okay. If we're going to say if private and private bool will say first time, or maybe we can say it by executed. Okay, we'll say if not executed, then we are going to move it to max main, and then if we are closer to min, then we are going to say that executed is true, and if our executed is true, we are going to do all of this stuff. I guess that should punch right. Let us see. Oh my god, where does it went? Oh, it moves from here to here. That's a crazy number. Okay, I see it ranges from only 0 to 1. We'll say 0.2 to 0.8, I guess. 0.1, 0.2 to 0.8. Height this from this. Let's see. Why are we getting towards here? Okay. Because it says 0. Okay. So in here we'll say it to be y is height and the max width dot y is height. I guess that should work now. You can see it moves from here to here. Yes. Okay, so you can see it moves really good. Now let's see what next we can do. Okay, so we have created our individual type and now we are heading for the wave type. So in the wave type, I guess we don't have to code much, we have to create it by animation. And the next thing we will do is we are going to create our enemy spawner. So let me really quick create a wave animation, and firstly we're going to create a enemy wave parent, or we will say enemy wave. I will tell you why I'm going to do this, and we'll say public void destroy wave. We're going to use animation events, and whenever we're at the end of the animation, we're going to destroy the wave, and we will simply say destroy game object. All the other enemies are going to be the child of this enemy wave. So we're going to create an empty game object. We'll call it enemy wave, and we'll place it here. Okay, somewhere here, and then let me switch back to normal view. We're going to add animator. Now we're going to create a new animator, and we'll say create animator controller, and we'll set it to as enemy wave 1, and here we will say animations. So now let's drop that in enemy wave 1, and now I'm going to create a duplicate of this enemy and child it to here, but remember really quick, we are going to change it to wave. Now this is our first enemy. We are going to set it to 0.5.5. the rotation is 180. Okay, this is our first enemy. Somewhere here, this is our second enemy, this will be our third enemy, this will be our fourth enemy, or I guess we're going to create only 3 enemies. Okay, so these 3 enemies we have it here, guys. Let's move it above. We will do some animation thing because the waves are animated. They will look more cool. So this is the enemy wave. Now we're going to create some animation. So we're going to create a new animation for that wave, and this animation we will say enemy wave 1, and we're going to add properties. Enemy is we'll say transform position. Let's record it. So the position of those on the first is this. On the 10th they will move like this. On the 20th this will go like this, and this will change to the here. This remains at the same. Okay, let's add that frame also. Okay, let's see what happens. And in the 30th we will say this. Let me, okay, and they move here a little bit. Now I guess it's kind of looking nice. And then in the 30th frame this remains. I guess this looks kind of cool. This comes no, this comes here. Let me see what the animation is right now. Okay, and now at this stage, firstly remove this enemy position for me. Okay, now at this stage, both are going this way, and now here they are like this, and then they are finally gone. And whenever they are gone, we're going to create an enemy animation event, and we'll select the function. Firstly, we're going to add get out of this recording mode. We're going to add our enemy wave here, and in this we're going to add the function that will be the destroy wave. So whenever wave behaves like this, we're going to destroy it. Now let's see what happens. This is our enemy. This will by default. Okay. We're only doing it if his enemy is individual. Okay, so now let's see what they do. Okay. The animation was now not kind of very good. Let's change the samples to 30. Now let's see. Oh they're not a single bit smoothly done. Yes. But what's this? We're going to move it down, I guess. This happens, then they goes down in this, but in this frame they're not going down. Let me do this then. Okay, I guess we should delete this keyframe. You can see this is our enemy wave completed here right now, and now we will go ahead with our enemy spawner. Okay. So all the thing done. It's very nice. Now we're going to create our enemy spawner. That's a big thing. Okay, so not show in Explorer, we're going to create our enemy spawner. So in this enemy spawner, we'll firstly say the maximum number of enemies we can have. So we'll say private int max number, max enemies, and we'll set it to 3, the maximum number of enemies at a time. Remember, we are going to count the enemy wave as one. We are going to count enemy wave as a single enemy. Okay, now we're going to serialize. We are using game object because in a place we are having an enemy wave script, and then we are having enemy, so we can't create the array of the enemy script. So we are going to create the array of game object because we also have to spawn those. So we'll say enemies to spawn, and this is a new game object, and currently we're going to set it to 2, I guess, because I have 2 of them. So now next thing I guess we're done with the variables. Now we have to start coding something. So firstly, the main thing is we are going to check if we are going to return the number of enemies. We'll say private get number of enemies. So that's the hardest part of the script, I'm telling you. I guess. So we'll say int n number, and we'll set it to 0, and let's return number. Now in the middle we are going to do some things. So we'll find all of the enemies, and then those enemies which are individual, we're going to add them into the number, and we're going to find all the number of enemy waves. Okay, and then we're going to add it to the number, and then we're going to return that number. So I guess that clears. So we'll say game object array, and we'll say temp, and we'll say game object dot find objects of type, and we'll say enemy. So we'll say for int I is 0, okay, I less than temp dot length, we'll say plus plus I. Now we're going to say if temp index I dot type, okay, we're going to change it to public here. We're going to change it to public, okay, enemy type, and here we'll say dot enemy. Let me compile that first. Oh, okay, and then we'll say if temp I dot enemy type is equal to enemy type dot individual, then only we're going to increment the number, and then we'll say number plus equals game object dot find objects of type, and then we'll say enemy wave dot length. I guess that clears it out, and then we're going to return the number. So this is the get number of enemies. So if we are going down to 3 enemies, we will spawn enemies. So let me create a method for private void spawn enemies. Okay, and now in this method we are simply going to do some random things. So we are going to say int n, that will be a random dot range from 0 to enemies to spawn dot length. Okay, so we're going to choose enemy, and then we're going to spawn it. So we're going to spawn it how many times? We're going to spawn it till we reach the maximum number of enemies. Okay, so if we're going to start with a for loop, and we'll say int I is get number of enemies. Okay, and then we'll say I should be less than equal to max enemies, not comma bro, it's semicolon, and we'll say plus plus I. I guess we'll only say it once. I is we have done the initialization part, we can leave it. Okay, so now after that we are going to spawn the enemies. So we're going to instantiate the enemies to spawn index n, and we're going to not going to parent it anywhere, and that's the whole process, I guess. And if it happens, so currently at the start, if we say spawn enemies, okay, and then it gets the number of enemies, then number of enemies will return 0, and then we will say it from I is 0 and I should be less than equal to 3, so plus I first, plus I afterwards. So we are going to spawn an enemy with an index n, so we're going to change n here also. Okay, so it's going to spawn random enemies all the time, and we're only going to do this if enemies to spawn index n is not equal to null. Optimization at its mind. So I guess that should work by now. And in the update method, we have to also spawn the enemies, because the player will destroy the enemies, the enemy will destroy the player. So at some point we're going to have the number down, so we are going to get the number of enemies. Okay, if the number of enemies are, oh yes, we can do this also. If get number of enemies greater than equal to max enemies, when we are going to return. Okay, so we are going to say spawn enemies. Okay, and now we can't call that in the update method, because we are indirectly calling the get number of enemies method, which is having so many expensive calls, that is game object dot find objects of type. So I have found something and I have done it earlier, and this is a performance problem optimization, and we're only going to call it after an interval, and we'll set that interval to, I guess, 20 or 30, and then we will use this thing. Okay, so I have copied it and we'll paste it here. Oh yes, sometimes happen with monodeveloped code, we copy things but we can't paste it. So starting from the base, not float, int interval, I guess it's 20, and we don't have to serialize this thing. Now we'll say if time dot frame count modulus interval is equal to 0. We're going to say spawn enemies. Okay, yes, that should work. Now let's get back to Unity. We're going to create a new empty object. We're going to say enemy spawner, and we're going to reset it. We're going to add the enemy spawner, max enemies to spawn, enemies to spawn. We're going to create a prefab of those things, and now let me create a new wave which will go from this place to this place. So I guess we have to create a new controller for that also. Say enemy wave 2, enemy wave 2, quickly duplicate it. Not going to duplicate this one. And now we're going to duplicate this enemy wave, and we'll say enemy wave 2. We're going to move it here. Okay, and this will have our enemy wave 2 controller. The animation, we're going to use enemy wave 2, and now we're going to record the things. So this is our enemy, I'm going to record it. This is the first frame, then set the sample to 30 first, and then this is the 10th. Okay, we moved here. Now in the, let me see the how many gap, I guess it's it. This changes to this comes here. Okay, yes, I guess that happens at the same time. This also moves, bro. Why we left this guy here? This buddy shouldn't be left. This is heaven. Now we're going to move them. I guess we have did it pretty quickly. We have to firstly we have to do it slowly, not so quick. We have to cover, we have an entire screen to cover. This is 20, I guess. 3 4 1 2 3 4, this is it. So at this point we're going to do something like this, and this comes down, this comes down, no, this comes down, and this comes down. Okay, this is the thing, and then they all move from here to here, and they go down. And then here they all go away, and we add an animation event, and this will be our destroy wave. I guess that should work, guys. Let me preview it. Oh yes, that's our enemy wave. So now we're going to create prefabs of them really quick, so we can use our enemies, spawn our enemies to destroy them. This is our enemy. We're going to set it to 3. Enemy wave 2. Now let's see what happens. Oh yes, you can see we got destroyed. And now the next thing that we have to do is we have to create a health bar. Okay, so now the main thing comes, the health bar. For that we are going, it's very simple, it's just a filled image, and let me show you this image. Let's move it somewhere around here. Okay, I guess that's right. Okay, and this is we are back. We're going to duplicate it, and we're going to name it as fill. We're going to recolor it to it, and this is an image with a type that is filled, not radial, it's horizontal, like this. Okay, so without UI script, sprite, you can't do that. So do I have any empty sprite? I guess I don't have it, guys. So let me create an empty sprite really quick. So all I'm going to do is going to pin.net. I'm going to resize it. Let's say the width is 480, and not 480, 480 is very big. 480 divided by 2 is 240, and 240 128. I guess resolution 100. We need resolution. No, it seems like it doesn't work. We'll say 480 here then. Yeah, seems like it could work, but it's just a simple thing, I guess. 128 into 128 should also work. Not that. We'll save it as puff 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 up. we're going to import it. Let's see where the mode YouTube spatial 2D thumbs pop up. You can see pop up. We're going to fill it here. This is not simple, this is filled horizontal, and you can see it works. Okay, so now here we have this. We're going to create an empty, not that, we're going to create an empty, and we'll say health bar, and health bar just get here, and backend fill is going to be the child of the health bar, and in the health bar we're also going to add some health text. Okay, health text, so it will say health, or maybe it will say 100, just plain things. You can see now I guess we should work with the coding part. We have created a health bar. Now let's work with the coding part. We have to just get that fill amount. Okay, this is the script. This is our player controller, that is our, we should go to our health script. Where is it? Health manager, and we'll say serialize field and private. We'll say firstly we're going to use Unity Engine .ui. Okay, and we'll say private image, and we'll say health fill image, and then we're going to use a private text health text, and in the update we'll say if you're not killing the player, if our health text is not equal to null, health text dot text is, we'll say our, this is our current health dot to string. You can see, and this health text we have done it. Now we are going to set health fill. Okay, so fill amount ranges from 0 to 1, so we're going to say private int fill amount. We'll say current min, and we'll say int max. Will return current, will return it. How we are going to do it from 0 to 1, so this min max 0 to 1, current is let me get the drill right. This is the fill amount. We have to just divide it by the max. 1 minute. Current divide by max. It's going to be a float firstly. Current divide by max. So if current is like 150, we are going to divide by max. The max is 200. Then it's going to be something. And then what's the purpose of min? So that's a really quick fill amount. I know that the real algo is something different. I have done it, but for current, let's leave it to here. Health fill is not equal to null. Then health fill dot fill amount is fill amount, and the current is current health, and the max is the max health. Okay, now it's time to see that in action. Is the player, so you can see health fill is this, and the health text here. Now let's play. You can see it's 30, 0 divided by max. I guess it comes down really quick, and this is getting something wrong. Current divided by max. Done. Float. Wait a minute. We know the current, we know the max. We return just current health divided by our maximum health, and we're going to return float of this thing, and remove all of this. So let's see what happens now. Wait a minute, I have a health of 30, but the fill amount is currently 0, but the fill amount be something 0.3, you know, but the fill amount is 0. That's a very strange thing. Current amount, current health divided by max health. Let's say float. Now see what happens. Now you can see it works. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we have almost created our game in this video. Now we're going to clean our UI and so many other things, but thanks for watching this video, guys. It was I guess it was the longest video of this series. So bye bye, hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice time. Peace.